Now, somebody may be looking at someone else and comparing their life to somebody else's life. Well, that's not fair because God sets every man on an individual journey. So you can't compare your life to somebody else's and be sad and depressed. No, on the contrary, you should look up to God and say, God, for what you've given me, I am thankful. Don't you realize that the greatest way to get more from anybody is to be thankful for the thing that the person gave you in the first place? Let me say it again one more time real slowly. The greatest way to get more from anybody is to show gratitude for what the person gave you already. Okay, even when Paul and Silas were locked in a prison in the book of Acts chapter 16, the Bible says they still prayed and sang praises unto God. They were thankful for the fact that they still had their lives and their health and their strength. They started focusing on all the good they had rather than the things they did not have. If you ever want to get more from God, show gratitude to what God has already given you. Let me slow down because somebody's going to catch this later on. If you have a place to go to work, that's a reason to be thankful. If you have a roof over your head, that's a reason to be thankful. If you have a family that loves you, that cares about you, kids who look up to you and call you mother or father or stepmom or stepdad, if you've got a relationship where somebody has your back and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you've got somebody, that's a reason to say thank you. I'm looking at people who didn't come by themselves, who have babies in their arms and wives that they can hug and friends they can cherish. If I'm thankful for the little things, God will then bless me with a big bit. I wish somebody had the boldness in this house to just stand and say, God, I thank you. He said, be ye thankful. Somebody may not recognize that God has brought you from a mighty long way. Yes, you may have a long way to go, and you may be thinking about how far down the road that you must travel. But I encourage you, just like the Bible says, oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endures forever. When I should have been dead and down and out, God blessed me. So yes, it's important for me to look ahead at what lies in my future. But I must thank God for my present and take a quick look back to the past and realize that God has been good to me. And if you really think about it, he's been good to you too. Some of the things you brought on yourself could have been way worse than they were, but God has been good to you. Some of the situations that we've gotten ourselves in could have been way worse, but God has been good to me. If you know that God's been good, you should at least put your blessed hands together, not for me, but for the God that you can thank. See, somebody forgets the importance of thanking God. Have you made it out of something that you didn't think you'd make it out of? Well, if you want to make it out of something else, I highly recommend you thank God for what he brought you through. See, thankfulness never ceases. I love the fact that when my youngest daughter, it seems like the younger you are, the better you get it. The older you are, the harder it is sometimes with kids. My youngest daughter, she can pick up a toy I gave her last year, have a good time playing with that toy, and say, Daddy, thank you for this toy you bought me last year. It's one of my favorites. She's still thanking me for stuff I did for her last year. Now, if an 8-year-old can thank me for a toy I bought her last year, surely a grown person can thank God for the family that you wake up with every day. Surely somebody can say, God, I may not have all that I want, but for what you, wait a minute, let me even take that out. Let me take that out. That's bad right there. That's bad right there. Because oftentimes we come to God just like that. Well, you know that old song that says, I won't complain? I hate that song. With a God this good, why would you complain? So you're going to tell God, God, all my good days outweigh my bad days, so I won't complain. Then the mistake I just made, well, God, I don't have all I want, but for what I do have, I thank. How would you feel if your kids came to you on Christmas Day and said, Mama, you didn't buy me all I wanted, but for what you did give me, thank you? Well, Mama, I know you tried your best, but your best really wasn't good enough, but since you tried, I will say thank you. You'll probably be inclined to take all your gifts back and show your children what it's like to live with no gifts at all. You might even give them an electric bill, a phone bill, and say, here, pay this on your way out. But if you can remember, it's important to tell God, thank you, not try to put it in a scope or in a box to say, well, God, this is all right. Same God that created the heaven and earth, we're going to tell him that's all right, but I want to be pure in my thanks to God. Let me say it one more time. We should be pure in our thanks to God. Not thanking him like, oh, okay, God, it's all right. No, thank him because who you might complain about today, God has blessed you with somebody that at least has your back when nobody else does. He's given you people on this earth that you can raise and develop and be around. And I wish somebody could recognize it's good to say thank you to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The fact that I'm able to stand on 2 feet, God, I thank you for that. I'm walking around. I thank God somebody's kids were born too early, some kids born too, but God still bless you, didn't he? Man didn't think you would be where you are, but God did still bless you, didn't he? Somebody didn't think you'd have the joy that you have today. God still bless you, did he not? Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endures forever. That's my time. Thank God for his